Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm very pleased to see you. I haven't been making videos like this for a little while, so I thought I'd just do a bit of a catch-up following the general format of what worked, what didn't, what am I going to do differently, and what's news. What I really wanted to do was tell you how my week has been and how I'm getting on with stuff, and hoping that it will inspire you to sit and take 5 minutes to write down the same kind of things. What worked, what didn't, what am I going to do differently this week, and how does the news affect any of that? So what worked this last week? Well, Beehive, which is where I send my written newsletter every week. I've got a page on Beehive and it sends out my written newsletter, because some people like to read and they're visual, but they don't like to watch videos because it goes too slowly for them. I like to read myself. I don't mind watching videos, but it does feel a bit slow sometimes. So so go and check out the Beehive. I'll put the link in the description below if you prefer to get a weekly newsletter with what's going on in the world of marketing, money and mindset. And the other place to go is to Substack if you prefer to listen, because what I tried to do over the last few videos was to read the new chapters of my book out loud. And I'm getting into the what didn't work here now, but basically it didn't work reading them out on YouTube. They were getting no views whatsoever. So I'm going to continue doing that, but I'm going to continue doing it on my podcast. And the podcast is distributed via my Substack. So if you go to nicolacairncross.substack.com, you can subscribe for free and you'll get a notification whenever there's a new podcast episode. But you can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, all the usual places. So this week I've been working on a website, and one of the things I wanted to do with this website was to embed PDFs into it. It's a podcast for an expert that I know, and he wanted his books embedded, which I thought would be awesome from an SEO point of view. So I immediately went over to my website and did mine as well. And it's very easy to embed a PDF in your website on desktop and laptop, but it's not so easy to make it work on mobile. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, is trying to puzzle out how to embed a PDF on your website so that it would also view on a mobile and look nice. Because what you can do is you can turn a PDF into an HTML file if you've got Adobe Acrobat. And I did actually invest in 1 month's trial for that, just so that I could test it out. But then when you embed the code on the page for it to be HTML, it looks horrible, especially if it's got any images on it. So that bit's not working yet, but I'll let you know when it is, because wow, putting a book on your website, that's a lot of content, and should do something for one's search engine ranking. But I'm testing it out, so I'll let you know if it actually works. I've got a new chair, so you won't be seeing me drop suddenly in the middle of these videos, which is a bit of a shame really, because I found that quite funny. But yes, here it is. It's the same chair I had before. Oh, I can't move out of the way enough, except it's got Go Faster orange stripe on it, Bitcoin orange. Oh, that's just sank down actually. I thought it was going down a little bit. How odd. So let's start with the news, shall we? Lots of people have noticed that there's a new cryptocurrency on the block called Worldcoin. And if you do any research on it at all, you'll find out that it's part of the big plan to get us all onto digital IDs. And the way that Worldcoin are doing it, basically they're giving you some free Worldcoin if you go and queue up, and lots of people are doing this, to stare into a shiny globe. And they've got several of these shiny globes positioned around the planet. And if you go and stare into it, then they can scan your retinas. So apparently your retina is even more unique than your fingerprint. So what they're doing is they're scanning people's retinas and giving them some of this Worldcoin, and it's just basically the beginning of the slippery slope into digital IDs and central bank digital currencies. The other thing that's in the news around your money this week is that NatWest are starting to limit the amount you can take out in cash by £250 a day. Well, that's always been like that in the cash points, but now it's that much in the bank branches as well. And worse, they're limiting the amount you can pay in to £250 a day. So if you're a tradie, for example, and you work as an electrician or a plumber or a builder, lots of times you get paid by cash out of people's savings that they've saved at home for just such an event. And they can't pay more than £250 a day in, which is pretty silly, especially if you think that more than one of their clients are going to be paying them in cash. So it's just a way, they're just trying to force us out of cash. Apparently one of the Aldi's is now gone cash only. I hope it goes bankrupt very quickly. Basically, the only way to stop this is to use cash every week if you can. So what I do is I do take out a small amount of cash every time I go to the co-op, and I tend to use it as often as I possibly can. And if a shop said, no, I'm not taking your cash, which is legal tender, I would just not shop there. I simply wouldn't. And if I was in NatWest right now, I'd be not only moving my bank account because of the fact that apparently banks closed down something like 250,000 accounts last year and have done every year for about the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'd be moving my bank from NatWest for lots of different reasons, and that's NatWest that owns Coutts, that debanked Nigel Farage. No matter what you think of Farage, you can't deny his right to free speech. And just because Coutts, he just paid his mortgage off with Coutts, they waited till he'd paid his mortgage off notice, and then they decided he wasn't the kind of person they wanted banking at Coutts. So they told a load of lies about him and his financial standing, which was confidential information. But they also kicked him out, and they have subsequently offered him his accounts back. But I doubt very much if he'll be going to open his accounts again with them anytime soon. So they're all at it. They're on a massive push to control us. They're on a massive push to stop cash being used so that they can push us into digital money, which we already use to a large degree, and there's no money behind it, of course. And they want to move us on to CBDCs, and Worldcoin is in fact linked to the Bank of International Settlements. If you do any research, you'll find that out. And the Bank of International Settlements is, of course, the central bank of central banks. So it's the bank that owns all the other banks, and the other banks are all owned by banks, not the government, as you may think. So although they're called a central bank and a Federal Reserve and the Bank of England, they are all just central banks owned by other banks. They're private limited companies owned by other banks. Anyway, I didn't want this video to turn into a bit of a rant about banks, but it seems that it has. So I'm going to go with it because the financially orientated videos on my channel seem to be among the most popular. So there we are, really. Now I'm a bit stuck on what to do with this channel next. I've got a list of topics I could talk about. They don't particularly inspire me. I'd rather talk about things that inspire you. So if you're watching this, then please give it a like and thumbs up and whatever it is, and subscribe to the channel, because that all gives YouTube some signs about who likes my stuff. And I'm really willing to cover any topic at all. I'll have a go at most things, but if we can keep it to the mindset, marketing and money, then that's probably more of my wheelhouse than anything else. I'd love to do website reviews. So if you've got a website you'd like me to review and you're happy for me to be constructively careful and go over it and say how I would improve it, I'd love you to do that. Just put that in the comments below. And apart from that, I want to thank you for watching through, and I will get my act together on the direction of this channel soon, I'm sure. I'll see you next time. This video is sponsored by WPExpertUK.com. You run your business, we look after your WordPress site. Basic updates and security patches or full website management, we've got you covered. Available during UK business hours, it's like having an in-house webmaster on your team for a fraction of the cost, a quick message away. Founder Nicola Cairncross has been proudly using WordPress to create the majority of her and her Clicks and Needs clients' websites for over 17 years. We know WordPress inside out. Just visit WPExpertUK.com to find out about our 3 simple price packages. And now, back to the video.